Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sencha Ext JS webinar, What's New in version 7.8. My name is Mark Guzmano. I am a sales engineer here at Sencha, and we'll spend the next half hour or so going through what is new in our latest version, and then we will do a round of questions and answers. If you do have questions during the webinar, there is a questions section of the GoToWebinar control panel. Feel free to add those questions. And then, as I said, once we are finished with the content, we will go through the questions and answer them for you. All right, so version 7.8, which is now generally available. The release has some new features and some quality improvements. In both of our toolkits, in the Classic Toolkit and in the Modern Toolkit, and we're going to do an overview of what some of those capabilities are. We've also affected our tooling, which I will discuss. We've modernized some of the backend requirements for the tooling and made sure that all of our tooling now works with this latest version of Ext JS, version 7.8. So this slide is a highlight of the things we will go through. In 7.8, we've made a few new things available, and as I've mentioned, we have some quality improvements and upgrades to certain tools and backend technologies. First and foremost, we now support the Froala editor inside the Classic Toolkit, and we'll take a look at that in a moment here. We made some enhancements for key areas of forms, things like checkboxes, combo boxes, date fields, and we'll look where you can look for the details of what we've done in a bit here. We have updated and upgraded our support for the backend Java capabilities, particularly for Sencha Command. We now support version 17 and 21 of Java, which is a good thing. I know a lot of you have upgraded to those versions. The closure compiler, which is again part of Sencha Command, has been upgraded to support up to ES14 in terms of new JavaScript language support, which is the 2023 version. Again, I'll point you to places where you can tell and see what is in these new versions. Of course, ExtGen and Sencha Command are our development tools. There have been updates, many of which to Sencha Command have to do with the previous bullets, but ExtGen, which under the covers uses Sencha Command, also inherits those updates. We've made sure that all of the tools are supporting the latest version, 7.8, and we've made some improvements to tools like the Upgrade Advisor, which is a free tool to help you upgrade potentially to this version 7.8 from a previous version of Ext JS, to Sencha Architect, which is our visual design tool, and to Sencha Themer, which is our visual theming tool that can be used to create custom themes for your Ext JS applications. And then in the category of plugins, which we support several integrated development environments, things like JetBrains, Visual Studio Code, etc. We've upgraded and updated those plugins to support the near latest versions, with JetBrains being the version that we needed some updates to, and now it supports version 2023.3.3. So plenty of upgrades to make sure we're with the latest versions, and a couple of feature enhancements. And with that, let's take a look at some of the details of some of these. As I mentioned, one of the first things is the addition of the Froala editor in the Classic Toolkit. So now if you have needs to have editor capabilities in your Ext JS applications, you can use the Froala editor, and it now is supported right within Ext JS. It is a true Ext JS component. Of course, with this new capability, we have a kitchen sink example. And what I'm going to do is just click into this example. So now if you go to the 7.8 version of the kitchen sink, and I'm in the Classic Toolkit kitchen sink, you'll have a new Froala editor menu item under components and several examples or demonstrations of how to use the Froala editor. So this simple example is just the Froala editor inside of a form panel. Like all examples within the kitchen sink, the details panel will show you exactly how to use the editor. And in this case, you're using the Froala editor. So the X type for the Froala editor is Froala editor field. You can use all of the capabilities of the Froala editor. You have this toolbar above. You can, edit your text. You can save that text. You have a simple little button here that'll show you the data that is inside that text, so you can programmatically retrieve the text. So the bottom line here is now you have Froala editor capabilities right from within the Ext JS Classic Toolkit. The tooling, in particular Sencha Command, and all of the tools that rely on Sencha Command now support the most recent LTS versions of Java 17 and 21 to be specific, and the latest LTS version of Node 20. So if you download XGen or Sencha Architect or Sencha Themer, the version of Sencha Command that comes with the latest versions of those tools is the 7.8 version of Sencha Command, and now you can run on the latest versions of Java and Node. So that I know is welcome news to many of you who I've talked to that wanted to be able to use the latest LTS versions of Java and Node. Within Sencha Command, we use something called the closure compiler to allow you to use ever increasing versions of Ecmascript syntax. Ecmascript is just the official name for JavaScript, and over the years, more and more new capabilities of JavaScript have been added as Ecmascript standards. The latest completed version of Ecmascript syntax is ES14, which was completed in 2023. And now with our upgrade to the closure compiler, you can use up to the ES14 or the 2023 version of Ecmascript features. If you're interested in what those features are, just for reference, we've linked here to some detailed descriptions of what was in each of the Ecmascript features all the way back to 1997 and going all the way to the present, which is Ecmascript 2023 or ES14. And essentially, more and more helpful JavaScript syntax has been added as we've evolved the Ecmascript standards. So any and all these things, including and through Ecmascript 2023, are now available to your application to be able to program. And certainly, if you're going to use those capabilities, you have to make sure that the closure compiler understands them and knows how to compile for those capabilities. So here, this link here under the Sencha Command documentation called the microloader gives you some description of how Ecmascript is used, how you can provide which level of Ecmascript you want to use. These are all configurations that you can use to drive the closure compiler within Sencha Command. So I would encourage you to take a look at this and potentially modify some of your configurations so you can use the version of Ecmascript that is appropriate to your development efforts. As I also mentioned, we, as we do in pretty much every release, we try to address the most significant bugs that we know are affecting most of you, and this release is no different. We've fixed several things and improved several things within Ext JS. things like combo box support. There were some issues with some of the charting to display labels. You can kind of read the laundry list here. This is just the highlight of the fixes that we've included. If you're really interested in knowing the details of what we've fixed, every release in the documentation, we have a what's new section in guides. And the what's new section essentially goes through the major new features and major new fixes that are part of the release. So in this particular case, you can see first and foremost is the Classic Toolkit and Froala editor. It talks about some of the improvements for text box, read-only cells, some fixes to charts, etc. So this is a pretty good list to just read and understand. If you are interested in specifically a JIRA ticket, so if you've put in a support ticket into our support portal and we previously identified something as a bug, we will typically put the JIRA ticket that is associated with that bug into the support portal ticket. These are the tickets, the IDs right here. So if you're interested in a particular ticket and want to see if that's been addressed in this release, you can see here we've got quite a few tickets, some of which are improvements, some of which are fixes, some of which are enhancements. We also keep track of all the things we need to do in a release, like upgrading the closure compiler, etc. So this is a pretty good list, again, of all of the things that have gone into this current release. And this release and every other release will have a release note. So let's say if you're on version 7.2 and you want to upgrade to 7.8, every version, if you go back, will have a release notes. And what I just did there is in the title here, there's a little drop down. If you go to Ext JS, let's say I wanted to see what was new in 7.7, I could go to 7.7, what's new, release notes. So I can see the cumulative effect of me moving, for example, from 7.2 to 7.8. So keep that in mind as you're beginning to do any upgrade. The Upgrade Advisor, which is our tool that allows you to point your source code at and understand what the upgrade requirements are. So if you're on version 7.2, you can point the Upgrade Advisor to your 7.2 code. Say you want to go to 7.8, it will rely on these pieces of information that we have in the release notes and tell you what things you need to address, and will even make the changes if you decide to make them for you, if it is able to. So Upgrade Advisor is, of course, also upgraded now to version 7.8. So feel free to go into some of those details if you have particular questions on what might have been included or not included and we don't address them during the webinar. Please feel free to give us a shout, send me an email, send us an email, and we can certainly address those questions with you. The IDE plugins, which are part of our tooling suite, which give you the ability to have Ext JS capabilities and tooling within the IDE environment of your choice. There have been upgrades to those two of note. The Sencha JetBrains plugin is now upgraded to support the JetBrains version 2023.3.3. So if you are using JetBrains, make sure you're using that version and you can install that plugin. The Visual Studio Code plugin, which is the open source IDE from Microsoft that is available from the web that you can download. It's the IDE that I use. Now supports up to version 1.87, and it is available either in the support portal or available from the Visual Studio Code environment. So feel free to download that and make sure you're with the latest version. It will also allow you to use and create 7.8 applications right within the IDE. All of our tools have been enhanced, and been upgraded to support version 7.8 of the SDK. I've already noted that the tools that rely on Sencha command have been updated to support the latest versions of Java and Node. The tooling that uses the versions of Ext JS, Architect, Themer, of course, Sencha command, the Upgrade Advisor are all now available and do support 7.8. Architect, Themer, and Sencha command are available in the support portal. Upgrade Advisor is a free tool available to you. There is a form from Sencha.com that you fill out, and instructions for installing it will be made available to you once you do that. So please feel free to get at those things now and start using 7.8 in your applications. One thing that we're excited about that is coming soon, and we wanted to make sure that this tool, when it arrives, indeed supports 7.8, and that's what we're working on right now. But Rapid Ext JS version 1.0 is quickly approaching. What Rapid Ext JS is a VS Code extension, not to be confused with the VS Code extension that we typically call the plugin. It is a second extension that will complement the VS Code plugin that adds visual development for Ext JS applications within Visual Studio Code. If you've ever used Sencha Architect, you know that one way you can use it is to drag and drop things like components onto your view. And those are the sorts of things that Rapid Ext JS will provide. The difference is it's not its own integrated development environment. It is an extension that uses the VS Code environment. So VS Code being very popular is the first foray into the rapid visual tooling. We're just finishing up testing. I don't have a specific date, but it is imminent. It will be available in GA form soon. So look forward to Rapid ExtJS as another tool to enhance your Ext JS development experience. Of course, the full suite of documentation has been upgraded to 7.8. It is the default now when you go to docs.sencha.com. So you can begin to use all the new and enhanced capabilities of 7.8. We now also have 7.8 as the default for the 30-day free trial, which is available from sencha.com. All the getting starteds are upgraded to 7.8, and anything that might be new that should make its way to the Resource Center will be there. The Resource Center is essentially where we keep all of the webinars and self-study training, things like that, kind of all in one place so you can find things with searching capabilities. Certainly, as I showed you, the kitchen sink examples have been upgraded for 7.8. I showed you that with Froala. So please feel free to get out there and start looking at what's new and trying things. We're also available on Twitter and YouTube. So if you have some questions, certainly give us a tweet on Twitter or X or whatever you might call it nowadays, or get a hold of us directly. We'd be happy to help you. One other place that's very valuable for developers is our Sencha Discord server. If you are interested in getting community help, help from our MVPs, if you have questions, if you'd like to contribute some answers, the Discord server is a great place to do that. If you need help getting started with the Discord server, again, feel free to contact us or contact your sales rep. We'll get you up and running, and we hope to see you there in both capacities. We love expanding the community, so feel free to join. Okay, with that, that is a set of highlights of what we have in this latest version, 7.8 of Ext JS. Right now, we're going to go see what questions we may have, and I am also going to be joined by Sachin, who's part of the development team. And Sachin, if you can hear me, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can jump into questions.
Thanks, Mark. Hey all, I'm Sachin, Sencha product manager. I'm going through a question panel. We have some questions. Let's go through. Mark, we have a first question. What is next to Ext?
Yes, there's another product out there that we've built. It's called, I guess I pronounce it Ext. It's spelled R-E and then capital E-X-T. So Ext. What is that, first of all? Ext is a tool that will allow you to use the Ext JS components in a React application. So if you're interested in doing that, if you want to expand your capabilities, a lot of you that may have explored React know that React doesn't come with its own native set of components, and Ext JS components are a wonderful way to complement React. So Ext is the name of that product. If the question is, does Ext support 7.8? The answer is absolutely it does. So you are able to use 7.8 within your Ext capabilities. On that front, React is starting to do some upgrade discussions. They are moving towards React 19. There is a React 19 release candidate out that just came out, I think, within the last week or so. And we are working to verify that, when that comes out as a GA, that it will work as well. So one of the philosophies of the Ext product is that we want to make sure that we keep up with the latest constituent products of that environment, that being Ext JS and React. And one part of that equation is already verified, and that's that it supports 7.8. So thank you for that question.
Thank you, Mark. So we have next question, Sencha test. Do you have a roadmap? So I'll take this question.
Yes,
Sencha test is in our roadmap for 24-25. So Sencha test will have an updated version in this roadmap here.
Okay.
I'll move to next question.
Yep.
So what is the next for Sencha Rapid ExtJS? I think, Mark, you covered, so you can just give a quick overview again.
Yeah, I covered. I mean, the initial version, which is going to be a version 1.0, of course, isn't going to have everything that we vision it to have, but it's a great start. Sachin, do you have any details or anything you'd like to share beyond the version 1 that will be coming out soon?
On product side, we are just working on final testing, so customers can expect very soon Rapid ExtJS out on the market.
Yeah, and then I'm sure once we get that out and have everything up and running, we'll start discussing more specifically what the future is. But we'll also look for feedback from all of you. A great place to do that is that Discord server that I mentioned, that we do make sure we're aware of what questions are out there, and certainly if you want to give us direct feedback, feel free to do so. But thank you.
Thank you, Mark. So I'm going to take the next question.
All right.
Next question is about GXT supporting Java 17, 21 LTS versions and GWT latest. So Sencha team is actually working on GXT support for Java 17 and 21 upgrade. We also have a GWT latest version 2.11, which we are planning for upgrade. Tentatively, we are targeting second half of this year for a release of GXT. Please stay tuned for the GXT release.
All right. Yeah, and just for those of you who might just be Ext JS focused, GXT is a sister product to Ext JS that uses Java, not JavaScript, but uses Java as its developer language. So, that's that's a kind of high-level overview of GXT, and it has its own ecosystem. It has its own, requisites. It certainly uses obviously Java under the covers. But if you're interested in that product, I'm glad to see that we're going to have some upgrades coming for you.
Okay, Mark, we have a next question regarding JetBrains ID compatibility for PHP Storm 24.1 version. As you already covered, in every release, Sencha is working to improve Sencha plugins. In this release, JetBrains plugin is compatible with IDE 23.3.3 version, which is thoroughly tested and verified. We will also review the compatibility support for latest IDE version in the upcoming releases.
Yep. Yeah, the challenge with these environments that support plugins and extensions is, they come out with releases quite often. I know working with Visual Studio Code, at least once a month. I think it's maybe just once a month, but once a month, a new version comes out. It doesn't necessarily mean that the current version won't work of our plugin, but as Sachin said, we want to make sure that we thoroughly test. So we'll always give you what the official version that's been thoroughly tested is, but and we will test the other ones in between, thoroughly testing it, and any feedback that we have, we'll make available. And the Discord server again is a great place to get some feedback on that as well. So keep us posted if you do try some of those that are for the newer versions, that whether you had success or what some of the issues are.
Thanks, Mark. So we have one more question around Ext JS. So question is, will Ext JS come for IntelliJ IDE? I'll take this question.
Okay, yeah, please do.
Thank you. We don't have any plans currently. This is great input. We'll review this in the upcoming releases.
So for the foreseeable future, we're going to look at improving the Ext JS environment within Visual Studio Code. Not to say sometime in the future we may not expand, but that's our focus right now, is with Visual Studio Code and the extension that we're building.
And we have next question around SW Preach that has been deprecated in favor of Workbox. Sencha CMD will have a support for Workbox in upcoming release. So the question, the answer will be, we will review this in upcoming releases.
So this is now Sencha command in Workbox. What is Workbox?
Yeah.
There
is a feature that supports with SW Preach function that has been deprecated already.
I got you. Okay. All right. Thank you for the question.
We'll review this in upcoming releases of what is the compatibility and what are the alternatives for Workbox.
Gotcha.
I'll go to next question.
Yes, please.
This is regarding Froala editor. Does customer has to purchase separate license for Froala editor? Do you want to take this question?
Go ahead. I know you know more. You have more insight on this than I do.
Yep, I can cover this. So Froala editor, for a new user or a new license, it will have 1 year Froala editor license they can acquire by sending out an email. This has been covered in the documentation. You can take a look. And after 1 year, you have to purchase the license separately.
All right. So 1 year as part of your subscription or your license, and then beyond that would be a separate support license for Froala. Okay.
That's right. I'll go to next question. Will Classic be supported in next few years? I would just say, yeah, I just
Yeah.
say we don't have any plans to deprecate it.
That's
We
right.
have a lot of customers who are using Classic and it has really good features.
Yep. Yep. And as you can tell, we are simultaneously making improvements and fixing issues with both classic and modern toolkits. And we will continue to do that. We will also continue to add needed capabilities to the modern toolkit to bring it to parity with classic. We continue to get closer and closer. In this particular release, we did the opposite though. We brought classic to parity because the Froala editor was already available in modern. But as we just mentioned, we intend to maintain and support both toolkits. There are no defined end of lives for classic, for example. Any other questions do we have?
Yeah, I have one last question in the panel. When can we expect ExtJS 8.0?
All right.
All right.
Features
So I'll
question.
take
I'm going to certainly defer that to you.
yeah. So we are already from product side and engineering side, we are working and we are reviewing features and planning for ExtJS 8.0. You can expect some announcement on the roadmap for ExtJS 8.0 soon.
All right. Very
That's
good.
all. I have Mark on the question panel.
Are there any more questions we might have?
No.
No. Okay. Very good. Well, if someone does think of a question after the webinar is over, again, feel free to contact any one of us or your sales representative who can get a hold of us, and we'd be happy to discuss those things. We're looking forward to any feedback you have on the newest release and the upcoming release of Rapid Ext JS. Anything else from you, Sachin? If not, we can call it a wrap.
I'm good.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you, everybody, and we look forward to hearing from you. Goodbye.
Thank you all.